everyone. New reports and some drama from the front. As the Germans get closer and closer to war, the leader of GHQ, Joffre, and the commander of the French Fifth Army, Laurenzac, have been fighting all this week about how to allocate troops. Laurenzac claims that Joffre has been refusing to accept his advice and information about the number of Germans. I sat down with Laurenzac today to discuss the matter on his mind. Good morning, General. Everyone wants to know what's happening with you and Joffre.
Well, it's simply a lack of relevant communication. We have had some conversations about the orders, if you call them conversations. It seems like the GQG doesn't really care about what generals see, but rather about protecting their precious Plan 17.
And why do you think the plan needs to be changed?
The plan does not necessarily need to be changed. It was thought out by some of our greatest military minds. No, the problem I have is with the system we use to communicate and how to make decisions on my troops. They don't even trust their strategy enough to share it with the rest of France. They've been so secretive and private with their information, I wouldn't know if the 4th Army was destroyed, or not to mention our other flank, which is not even here yet.
Other flank? Is there a problem with French troops there?
I would argue that there's a problem with French troops, but Joffre insists that we do not need any more troops on the flank, where the British will be landing. Unfortunately, we have not seen head nor tail of the British, so I'm not sure if we are on the continent alone, or if we're going to have some reinforcements come soon.
But as long as the British get there on time, the French army will be safe, right?
I don't even know. I have been telling Joffre that there will be more troops coming in from the north, but all he says is the more troops that are coming from the north, the better our chances. I guess it's just a difference of opinion, but it may decide the fate of France.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. This plan will decide the fate of France for better or for worse. For the other side of this argument, we go to General Joseph Joffre, commander of the French GQG. Hello, General, how are your plans to get this war starting going?
Very well. I am confident in the troops, and this plan to succeed to deliver a victory for France and a final defeat after our loss in Sedan.
So, General, I've heard reports that seem to indicate you've been shunning the information of the generals on the front and relying only on the opinions of your members of GQG. How do you respond to those claims?
I first would like to point out that the members of the GQG were chosen from the most elite of the elite here in France. Second, we listen to our generals' opinions and reports very often. We just have to choose whether they are part of our battle strategy or not. Unfortunately, a lot of our generals complain about this perfect plan, and we fear that it will lead to our demise. Commanders in armed forces need to learn that in war, they need to listen to their higher officers and higher commanders. While communication is important, one must remember his place.
I've heard from many sources that the Germans plan to come through from the north of France, and you have refused to acknowledge this information with reinforcements.
Quite right. The more troops that they throw at our left, the more quickly our victory will be ensured on our right. And I highly doubt the Germans will just march through Belgium without the British retaliating at all. They just wouldn't be stupid enough to incur the wrath of Britain.
But what if they come through your right and you fail to attain a quick victory?
I simply think that Plan 17 has too many perfections and strengths for our generals and commanders to mess it up, albeit I do worry about them very often. They can be very stupid and often have incorrect intelligence coming from their front. Unfortunately, most of their intelligence is gathered by their privates and not enough reliable sources from outside information. It's just infuriating. Sometimes I feel like I'm ignoring them altogether.
Thank you, Mr. Joffre, and may you have a short war. The voyage was rough, but we managed to run past the German blockade of warships on the Baltic and got to St. Petersburg in one piece. Getting overland to the army's camp is even worse. What fuel railroads the Ruskies have are clogged with mobilizing troops. The troops are no picnic either. They're all mad as hell that the government banned vodka. Apparently some of them were hitting the bottle too hard during the fiasco with Japan. The Tsar's not going to have any of that this time around. Anyway, we eventually got caught up with Reinkampf's First Army and started marching. We're actually about to cross into Prussia in a couple of hours. I'll file another report once we're over. We're a couple of days into Prussia and things are starting to get bad. The Russians made their rails a different gauge so that the Germans couldn't invade them. But now it means that the Russian trains can't go through the German rail network to keep us supplied. We've run out of supply wagons and we're starting to run out of food and supplies. We made our first contact with the Germans on the 17th. The entire 27th Division was routed back to the border. We think we are fighting Francois's troops.
Oi, Englishman! Is there any wire in that wagon?
No, that was the last spool.
Capitan, we're all out of wire.
Use the wireless then. We need to talk to Samsonov's army somehow.
Captain, the Second Army does not have our cipher codes.
Send it on the wireless. We need to communicate with them. Oi, Englishman, get me some vodka out of the truck. It's hidden in the ammunition box.
The Germans started attacking our position here before dawn this morning. Francois' forces surrounded us on the Russian right wing, and they've been bombarding us with heavy artillery and airplanes. The situation on the Russian center and left is better. They're holding, but our artillery has just run out of ammunition and the Germans are threatening to charge. The Russian cavalry was supposed to hold them back, but oh golly, it looks like they're just pulling away from the fight. Fall back! The Germans are charging. We need to get out of here fast. Alright, I've hidden myself. I'll stay put here and see if I can't sneak into the German ranks when they come by. If I make it, I'll send another message as soon as I can. Hello, this is 0014. I managed to make it behind the German lines and they've given me a job as von Hindenburg's chauffeur.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning and you still have not gotten my beer. How am I supposed to work with such a useless staff?
Hier es ist Bier.
Stop the car!
Stop the car.
We have more intercepted telegrams from the Russians. The fools are still sending their messages unencrypted over the wireless. Rennenkampf is marching west still and won't be able to threaten Alria for several days. And Samsonov thinks we're retreating, and he's rushing headlong into our jaws. The exact time and directions are all in there.
That is incredible.
This is the perfect time to fight the Russians, one at a time. We must act now.
But what if Rennenkampf changes his orders and comes to Samsonov's aid?
He won't. During the war with Japan, those two commanded cavalry unit and were supposed to act together. Samsonov became so upset with Rennenkampf's incompetency that he punched Rennenkampf out in a fist fight. Rennenkampf would never help him after that.
And even if he did come, our signalmen would not, would know ours beforehand.
Then we must turn south and fight Samsonov.
Agreed.
Shall we go?
Yeah, go.
Alright, that was incredible intel. I'll try to move further into Germany and send you more information as soon as I can. 0014 out. Currently waiting for General Hoffman at the telegram station.
Ah, good, the Kaiser's reporter. I've just gotten some great news of 2 intercepted telegrams from the Russians. We know now that the Russians won't be able to reach our rear, and they think we're in retreat. Retreat!
Oh yeah, great.
Just be sure to tell the Kaiser that these interceptions were when I was in charge. They're going to be very important for our success in the next battle.
Is everything alright?
Well, Hoffman certainly thinks so, but I have to disagree. These telegrams cannot be trusted. Who would make such a fatal mistake of sending these telegrams that are so easily readable?
Yeah, you should probably just disregard those telegrams.
Well, Hoffman has already acted on them.
Great. Hello, I'm here gathering information to bring back to von Hindenburg. What are your feelings about the war as of now?
Well, I heard that the French offered us an armistice, and I'm very glad that we didn't accept it.
Right, the French armistice?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth billions, but I think our German pride is worth more than that to those Frenchmen. And we could beat them on our own.
Thanks for sharing. These German soldiers have absolutely no clue what is going on. Either they are just stupid or they have been receiving completely wrong information. That's it for now. I'll report back later. Tea and scones. Finally, proper British meal after weeks of schnitzel and spätzle.
My cup. Was? Tee und Scones? Was für Riesen? Sterbe tot.